Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Shedeur Senior. Before we get started, let's take a minute to hit that like button. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and share at Pot of Coffee 1203 on YouTube and on X and on TikTok now. Yep, I told you this week I would have my TikTok up, and I have it up. So there's that. Now, on today's episode, we got a couple things. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders being named to the Pro Bowl and the Browns coaching search. So let's start there. The Browns coaching search. The Cleveland Browns are in the third week of their coaching search. Today they had their second meeting and their first in-person meeting with the Rams offensive passing game coordinator, Nate Scheelhaase. Nate Scheelhaase is a graduate of the University of Illinois, where he played quarterback for 4 years. And when he got into coaching, he started his coaching at Iowa State for 2 or 3 years and then went to the Los Angeles Rams, where he is currently employed under Sean McVay. This past weekend, Scheelhaase got a lot of attention nationally on TV. And I would have done this earlier, but I was watching a lot of the Cleveland shows today, and I listened to a lot of their programs and seeing how they were reacting to Scheelhaase and the scheme that he might have had a hand of putting together in the loss to Seattle. They were pretty much. I got a ball in the pit with the Cleveland media because nothing anybody does is going to be good enough for you, because everything you preference you. I wouldn't do it that way. I would, but you're not even giving away you would do it. You're just saying I wouldn't do that, or that wouldn't make me happy, or I wouldn't be comfortable, or I'm not in love with that. Well, give us a solution. Don't always tell me what's wrong with the picture. Tell me how to fix the picture. And it's not just automatically a quarterback. So let's stop that. Let's stop that right now, because if that's the case, why haven't the Bills won the Super Bowl? Why haven't with Josh Allen in the 9 years he's been there? They haven't even seen a Super Bowl. But y'all say Josh Allen is the creme de la creme in this modern era of football. Josh Allen is the prototypical quarterback that y'all want in this era. Big, strong, can run, can throw the ball a country mile. But what has he won? You guys felt so bad for him last year that you got to give him the MVP. Yes, I said bad for him because he had his best career year numbers by a long shot, but it still wasn't the best in the league. So, and that leads me into the second topic, right? And the second topic is this: Shedeur Sanders' name to the Pro Bowl, right? So you can't be, on one hand, be mad at Shedeur for being named to the Pro Bowl by the league, but when the league gave Josh Allen the MVP last season and not even being as good or even comparable to the Lamar Jackson, who was the other person in the final voting. The only reason why y'all gave it to him is because he beat them in the second round of the playoffs last year and got to the AFC Championship game where he pooped the bed again. And you can't keep saying, oh, well, he did everything he had. He left the field with 13 seconds left. So what? He didn't win the game. Okay? This is NFL. There's no for seconds. There's no hurrahs for seconds. Right? And then another thing is with this, this coaching search. I got my eye on a couple different things right now. And so if you see me looking off and stuff like that, I'm looking at my tablet, I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at my monitor, my big TV in front of me, because I got a couple things going on where I'm trying to keep up with this coaching search. Okay. Like I was saying, Nate Shieldhouse about 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago now, as the end of this, it's 8:30 Eastern time, around 8:30 Eastern time, and on Monday, the January 26th, about 2.5 hours ago, he finished up with the Cleveland Browns, and now he's about an hour into a virtual meeting with the Buffalo Bills for their head coaching vacancy. I don't think that he will get that one. I think that is a negotiating tool. I'm not mad at Nate Shieldhouse for going in there and having the Zoom meeting, because you're 35 years old. This is your first opportunity. Get as many, get it and sit in front of as many people as you can. But I think it's also going to make Jimmy really do something in this, because I think Jimmy and Andrew really wanted Nate from the beginning, because from the beginning his name has been on the list. It hasn't been a surprise. He just couldn't get talked to for the second round until today. You got to remember, in the coaching searches, he was the second person they talked to. The second person they talked to. The first one was a pitcher from Cincinnati. Then it was him on the Skype, and then it was in-house. So it's like he's been there, and then Udinski came in later, and then from what I'm hearing is Udinski, when he had his second interview, he left a lot on the table, a lot to be desired. His written was better than his face to face. He didn't interview well face to face, but Skype and his written answers were very well. So he has to learn how to marry those two. Or I think he would have been a little bit further along in this. And then with him removing his name, I think that had a lot to do with that, because the Browns told him, "Hey, you need to work on this and this and that." And they had already told him that they weren't going to be choosing him. But for him to save face, it was over. I'm going to withdraw my name. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the Browns are going to make $1 billion or a couple $1 billion a year. And the league is going to give them $254 million like they just did this year. Next year, I think it's $265 million they're going to get for TV revenue. And that, I'm not talking about next year. I'm talking about next season, when the TV sharing revenue gets split again. And I think it's going to be $265 million this year or more. So they're still going to make out like a fat rat. They're still going to make over $1 billion this year. And then now back to Shedeur Sanders being named to the Pro Bowl. You Cleveland people, media people, are something else. That's as nice as I can put that. Because on the one hand, you want to discredit everything he does and say that he's a fifth-round draft pick. But now when you say that, you're going to have to say the fifth-round Pro Bowl draft pick, quarterback. You're going to have to put that whole sentence together. And that's going to eat at you, because you think you know better than coaching. You bought the hook, Lauren, and sinker that Dylan Gabriel was so great. And so he was the greatest thing since Peter Butler. You bought that. Don't get mad at us because we knew better than that. And we told y'all, nah. Even people that were sitting on your same set was telling you no, but you're listening to other people that didn't even go and watch or even look at tape. See, the media, y'all don't have control like y'all used to, because everything is instant. Everybody's a reporter. Everybody has a camera now. You say this person is good, okay. The first time somebody gets a chance to put a camera on that person, they're going to put a camera on that person and put it out there to either prove you right or prove you wrong. And stop just listening to these people blindly, because we're not listening to you blindly anymore. Your sources is laughing at you. They setting you up. Y'all got to pay attention to this, how the ebb and flow of this is, man. if you notice, the ones that are mad that Shedeur Sanders has been named to the Pro Bowl are 50 plus. Now, I'm 50 plus myself, but I'm not mad. But they're 50 plus and they have an agenda of a mind. I wouldn't say an agenda. I would say a mind state of thinking that Dan Marino, Drew Bledsoe, Josh Allen, that ilk of quarterback is still what it takes to win in this league. I've been wrong since Dan Marino. Dan Marino ain't never won nothing. He ain't win a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame, but he ain't win a Super Bowl. When when they say the greatest of all time, Dan Marino's name hasn't come up in 30 years. Mm. Jim Kelly's hasn't. Drew Bledsoe's hasn't. Not Big Ben's hasn't. These are the names that y'all say you want your quarterbacks to be like. But that's not how the game is today. Yes, statistically that would be an advantage. But if you're turning the ball over, how are you supposed to win? So you want to talk about Shedeur having 10 turnovers and 7 touchdowns. Josh Allen done turned the ball over grossly ever since he's been in the league. But we don't want to talk about that. Josh Allen has turned the ball over so much in the third and fourth quarters and in crucial moments of the game. They stopped having them throw it for a while. Unless it was a screen. Y'all forgot about that. But yeah, you want to say Joe Burrow is the next best thing, but Joe Burrow ain't what. And y'all was trying to tell us 6 years ago that Trevor Lawrence was a generational talent, generational bum. You meant generational cheeks. You meant because there's nothing generational about Trevor Lawrence, not even his hair. Fabio had better hair than him, so. You guys have to stop fantasizing about this great white hope savior of a quarterback. There ain't one. How bad y'all talked about Bo Nix? If Bo Nix didn't have a broken ankle, Bo Nix would be in the Super Bowl getting ready to go against Seattle. Y'all killed Drake May last year, but now all of a sudden he's a MVP caliber quarterback. How'd that happen in a year? Coaching. Or maybe y'all was wrong about him last year. Or maybe it was a combination of both. I just asked y'all to start watching film. So you had access to it as a media. I know it's boring because there's no commentary. I know it's boring because you don't know what the heck you're looking at. I know it's boring because you don't know what a levels concept is, or a dagger concept is, or an arrow concept is, or a drag concept, or comeback. You barely know what a slant is, or an out route. You better know what a Texas angle or angle route is, a China route, a smash route. You barely know what a cover 3 is, a cover 4, cover 6, cover 8, one man, one zone. Man over, man under. I'm just saying, y'all barely know things. Y'all, somebody told me on Twitter, X, whatever. There's a survey. Had four linebackers: Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis, a couple more. Very great linebackers. Okay. Uh, they were asking who would be cut. And then somebody said nobody would be cut because you're going to run a 3-4. My question was, they were all four middle linebackers. It was Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly, uh, Bobby Wagner, and Patrick Willis, I think it was. All four middle linebackers. My question was, what two are you going to put on the edge in the 3-4? The two stand-up linebackers on the end of the line, who are now your defensive ends, who are going to contain the edge. Because that's your first job, is to contain the edge. 3-4. And then rush the passer. So, what two are you going to put there? Nobody could answer me that question. And somebody said, they're all four Hall of Famers. Do you think they could figure it out? I said, I never said that. I said, what two would you put down there? One guy said, well, I moved from safety to linebacker. I said, okay, if you did do that, you probably moved from a box safety or strong safety to a weak side linebacker. He came back with a thumbs up comment like, yep, you're correct. It's not hard to figure that out. You weren't going to move to a strong side linebacker because they wanted you to be the backside or the weak side for that leak out from the back and out the backfield, or that wheel route or rail route. They wanted you to control that with your speed and athleticism as a safety. Mm-hmm. See, football ain't changed. Football has been the same. Only thing that's changed are concepts and schemes. But the game, football is still football. You still have to run it. You still have to stop the run. You still have to pass it. You still have to defend the pass. Simple as that. If you're on defense, the only kick you want to see is a punt. That's it. If you're on defense, the only kick you want to see is a punt. On offense, any kick wins. You've won your series if you kick and you don't turn the ball over. So that's either a field goal, a touchdown, a field goal, or a punt, because you didn't turn the ball over. And you change the field position to win. So now back to Shedeur. All right. The fans didn't do that. Aunties didn't do it. The uncles didn't do it. The Shedeurians, the prime sexuals, the haters, all the names that you have for people that support this young African American man. He's done nothing, but everything that he's been asked to. This is what the coaches and the coaches on the team said. The people around the team have said. He's had one incident or two incidents, and they were speeding tickets. Well, who hasn't had a speeding violation or a seatbelt violation or a moving violation while driving, or a parking violation? Because that's all civil. He took care of it. You ain't heard nothing else about him in the news other than helping people, extending himself. But that ain't good enough for y'all. But what's the funny part? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to take that off the screen. Let me put it back up there. But what's funny is the league put him there, And you guys might say, well, the league, they were whatever. Yeah, okay, well, whatever. You can say that. And you have a right to say that. But see, the league sees it. The league sees they're down in numbers from 2023, 1.5 million viewers. That's money they're losing. Shedeur will bring 1.5 million viewers just dropping his name, right? The league sees that. The league knows that. The man's jersey has been sold out since October. They can't keep it on the shelves. Huh? They can't keep it on the shelves. The NBA sees that. But you see what the media doesn't, the local media and the national media didn't want you to see was when the Browns went over to play the Minnesota Vikings in week 5 over in London. Shedeur, pictures of Shedeur and his Browns uniform were all over London. All over London. See, he's a marketing gold mine. And I'm going to explain how to you real quick, okay? Real simple. First off, he's NFL royalty. Okay. His father's first ballot, greatest of all time, not arguably, greatest of all time defensive back, Hall of Famer. His daddy is a walking marketing machine. He's taught his son that business. Why do you think that he made close to $40 million between January and the draft of last year? From his last game to January, he made like $34 million before he even got drafted. Do you not think that this weekend, because see, the NFL needs ratings to go up, and it's going to be in Santa Clara at the site of the Super Bowl. So they want ratings to go back up, and because they're losing ratings with this flag football stuff. But see, they're trying to put flag football in the Olympics, so they got to try to promote it. Especially in California, because of the weather's conducive to it. So, what's the best way to get people there? Shedeur Sanders is going to be here, and he's going to clean up. He's going to clean up in the parents' fees. He's going to clean up. Shedeur going to make $40-50 million this weekend with his appearance fees, his autograph sessions, his commercials that are going to drop. You don't think Nike and Gatorade aren't going to have commercials ready for him to drop the moment he does anything or even gets shown on national TV? The next commercial break is going to be a Shedeur Sanders commercial or a Nike commercial with featuring his daddy's shoes that have been recolor waved and got his legendary signal symbol on it. Or his own Gatorade commercials. You remember how many times Gatorade commercial played during the draft, the first night of the draft, and then once he started falling, they pulled back. You don't think they got 4 or 5 videos just waiting? Come on, man. This is about the almighty dollar. That's it. That's all, folks. The NFL is about business. They are dang near $100 million a year business. They don't want to lose money. I'm checking to see if anything's going on in the Kirchen search. I don't see anything on X as of right now. So, as of right now, Cleveland still doesn't have a head coach. Like I said, I think tonight or first thing in the morning, Cleveland's going to announce that they offered, and Nate House has accepted a 5-year deal to be the next coach of the Cleveland Browns. Once again, Shedeur Sanders is named to the Pro Bowl as a replacement player for Drake May, who is going to be playing in the Super Bowl. Congratulations, Drake May. Congratulations, Shedeur Sanders, on making your first Pro Bowl as a professional football player. A lot of people never get that opportunity, no matter how it came about. It is yours. Own it, walk in it, bathe in it, and benefit from it, because it is yours. It's been bestowed upon you. Nobody can ever take it away. They don't have to like it. They don't have to love it. But it's yours, young brother. Thanks again for joining us in another episode of the Pot of Coffee Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Pot of Coffee 1203 channel on X and Twitter and on TikTok. With that, you guys have a blessed one. Until the next one, peace.